keep hearing people say Sophie Cunningham is speaking out. But is that actually what's happening? Here's what I've noticed. When this story first broke, Sophie Cunningham was asked about transgender athletes competing in women's sports by an ESPN reporter. Probably a question that she shouldn't have been asked in just an interview about sports and basketball and Sophie Cunningham, but she was asked that. She answered the question and has since said she stands by her answer. But here's what I've noticed. Now reporters are asking everyone in the WNBA, Caitlin Clark, Cheryl Reeve, Natalie Nakase, Sarama from Portland. To me, the story has become bigger than one player's comments. And I'm not asking you to agree with Sophie. I'm not asking you to disagree with her either. I'm simply pointing out something I think is interesting. The conversation has shifted from what did Sophie say to what does everyone else think about what Sophie said? As someone who loves covering this league, I think it's an important distinction. Sometimes the biggest story isn't the original comment. Sometimes it's how the media conversation grows after it.
What's going on, everybody? I appreciate you guys pulling up today and hanging out with us for a little bit. This particular story has, just taken off like wildfire, right? And it's really overshadowed the WNBA. I mean, I don't think the league is that great, but for the most part, more people are talking about this particular situation and this story than they're actually talking about the games. Now, from what I've heard, I don't watch the WNBA, but there has been some pretty good basketball being played by one Caitlin Clark. I think she went on a tear of 5 or 6 games where she was just going off. And she also happens to be, one of the more, famous people in the league, along with Sophie Cunningham for a multitude of reasons. Everybody's talking about this story, and I'm with this young lady right here. I don't think that this question should have been asked. But what bothers me is that no one is trying to get to the bottom of who the reporter was that asked this silly question that set this whole thing ablaze in the first place. The person that wrote this particular article, her name is Haley Grossman. Apparently, Haley Grossman is not on X. Now, I don't know if she deleted her profile on X. I mean, it's just hard to believe that a reporter, a journalist, doesn't have an X profile. I just find that very, very strange. But she asked, this interview happened early July, some time frame. It actually was released, if I'm not mistaken, July 21st. And, she asked this, and then basically this thing has set ablaze. And this Haley Grossman individual, if I can pull this up real quick, give me 1 second, just so you can get a chance to see exactly who this person is, because she should be getting some spotlight here for asking this question that has set the WNBA ablaze and really just set the sports world ablaze while we get ready and wait for the NFL, right? That is Haley Grossman. You can see this. And now you got a bunch of pandering women out there who are pandering for the T movement in the alphabet community. And they know good and daggone well they don't want to play with men or against men. They know this. But there's a lot of cowardly women within the WNBA. And what we know about the WNBA, it's a super woke league. We also understand that it's probably the gayest league in all of professional sports. And I don't say that to denigrate. I'm just saying that's what it is. 2 weeks ago, they had the WNBA All-Star. You had this crew of people called the Stud Buds out there live streaming the after parties and all this other kind of stuff going on. And the debauchery that you've seen in that live stream. Now, I'm just sitting here and say, I only watched a little bit because I just couldn't stand to watch what I witnessed. But it was a bunch of athletes, female athletes, that is, grinding and dancing and all up on top of each other like that. In mainstream media, ESPN, Fox Sports, and some of the other mainstream media networks, they just decided not to cover it. But what we do know is there is a double standard here, because if in the NBA All-Star game, if somebody was live streaming and they saw a bunch of NBA players, dancing and grinding up on each other, a lot of folks would have a whole lot to say. You know it, I know it. There's more to get into. I just had to get that off my chest real quick. Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, because Enes Kanter, Freedom, has decided to toss his daggone, name in the ring to be a part of this league.
I think it's trans rights now is our new battle. That's what I think I was saying, that like the battles have changed.
Oh, yes.
Like our intentions have been the same, but now the environment has changed. We see trans people's rights being, stripped away from them. There's a lot of discourse around trans athletes and where they can compete in. I would welcome a trans athlete on my team or against my team anytime. I don't think it's a problem in the world. It's just another way to kind of attack trans people. We've seen players like Lasia Clarendon who stepped into that forefront and have been brave enough and courageous enough to kind of step up. So I guess that's the next battle that we have to fight as athletes.
That is so crazy. These are some cowardly women. The next battle. No, your job is to entertain and play a sport. But it's pretty obvious that the WNBA, the entertainment aspect of things, is like the least of their concerns. That is the least of their concerns. All they do is just virtue signal. It's a league full of social justice warriors, SJWs. They should just call it the SJW League. You know what I'm saying? This is ridiculous. Stephen A. ain't wrong.
You can't be a male, born a male, transitioning to female, and think that you should have the right to compete with women. Not in basketball, not in football, not in boxing, not in the UFC. Hell, not even in tennis. It's an aberration when you find somebody like a Serena Williams serving 120 miles, 25 miles an hour.
And she out of her own mouth said that she want no parts of the men.
That's ordinary for Jokic or Jokovic. That's ordinary for Sinner. That's ordinary for Alcaraz. That was ordinary for Sampras, Agassi, and all of these guys. We got to stop this. We got to stop acting like somebody that's speaking up on behalf of girls like a Sophie Cunningham, like a Riley Gaines, are scourges of the earth. You are Cheryl Reeve, the head coach of the Minnesota Lynx. That is an irresponsible thing to do. You are a coach for a female basketball team. Do you not think that the females are being screwed over if they have to compete against a individual born as a male? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
I'm with him 1,000% on this. And it seems like it's majority men stepping up and speaking out against this foolishness. You got a bunch of women out here continuing to cape up for this movement. On the flip side of that, Cheryl Reeves just did an interview saying that she was upset that there are more male coaches in the league. So which one is it? You don't want men taking coaching positions in the WNBA, but you're okay with men taking actual player positions in the WNBA? It makes absolutely no sense to me.
In a world where trans rights and transhumanity is so compromised, just them living in their humanity, it's so jarring to see the uproar, the turmoil that has been this past few days and weeks in the WNBA with discussion around it. So igniting the entire anti-trans movement is bizarre. It's toxic. I don't know the words for it. I'm disgusted. I'm disgusted.
It just really seems like controversy for controversy's sake.
For no reason.
Like what you said, like it's not even a thing. It's not happening. It's not a threat to anything. Even if it was happening, it wouldn't be a threat to anything.
It's not a threat.
But it's actually not even going on. So why we're talking about it in this way and being inflammatory about, I don't know, just there's a level of pandering that seems to be going on that just doesn't really make sense to me.
Yeah, you all are the panders. Pandering to a small percentage of people, and you're basically pandering because you guys are a part of the alphabet community, and y'all feel like that if you're a part of that umbrella, we got to cape up for everybody. Even if it, negatively affects us, we got to cape up for everybody. Again, I got to say it. This is the gayest league in all of professional sports. These people are ridiculous. They are ridiculous. They have no shame. And again, Haley Grossman, you need to get, I need to see Haley Grossman on a platform, and I need people asking her, like, why did you ask this question? What side do you stand on in this? She's a throw your rock, hide your hand type individual, because Sophie's been taking the smoke. The Fever Squad they've been asked, everybody in the WNBA has been asked about this, but Haley Grossman, where are you? She is on a milk carton right now. She literally threw a rock and now she's nowhere to be found. Like, what is going on here?
After careful consideration and reviewing the current eligibility guidelines, I am officially declaring myself a WNBA prospect. If simply declaring who you are is all that's required, then I meet every single requirement necessary to compete in the WNBA. My team and I have carefully examined the WNBA's eligibility criteria and governing framework surrounding self-identification and inclusion. Based on the current guidelines, I can and am officially declaring my eligibility for the upcoming WNBA Draft in May 2027. I am definitely not here to mock, make fun of, or disrespect any community or personal choices. I am simply asking that the current rules be applied equally to everyone. The rules that represent the very values many WNBA players and coaches have publicly advocated for.
How many dudes, once this happens, if this happens, I know he's trolling, but a couple of questions in the comment section. Answer this for me. Is he going to throw a wig on? Is he going to shave the beard? My next question is, how many points and rebounds do you think this guy would, I mean, this is a former NBA player. How many points and rebounds do you think he would average in the WNBA? My guess is that we're talking upwards of 40 points. He would average a 40 and 20 easily in this league. I mean, this dude is 6'10". I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I believe he averaged, at a point, in a stint during the NBA, he was a 2010 guy in the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. And if I'm wrong, please correct me. I mean, I know he's trolling, but to be honest with you, hey, are they going to stop him? Are they going to allow this to go on? The other question that I have for you guys in the comment section is this. How many D3, D2, or lower level D1 players or D1 players in general that they're not good enough to make it to the NBA? They're not good enough to go and play in Europe. And nowadays, with the WNBA, you got players making upwards to $1 million, and you don't have to leave. You don't have to go across the daggone pine. How many lower level, D1 players that would be good enough to play in the WNBA? Matter of fact, they're more than good enough to play in the WNBA. How many of them gonna toss a lace front on and get out there and start dunking on these chicks?
I've seen people online say that Enes Kanter Freedom is making a mockery of women's sports, but that's not at all what he's doing. He's making a mockery of the people who have made a mockery of women's sports. And so I think it's fantastic. I think it's brilliant and genius. The WNBA now has the opportunity to put their money where their mouth is. They can either recruit and sign Enes Kanter Freedom to a WNBA team, or they can prove themselves as total just absolutely bigots who don't believe the things that they're actually advocating for. So I think it's really brilliant.
I would like to say this. I do think it's brilliant. It will force them to put their money where their mouth is. But the WNBA, they're not going to do this. They're not going to do it. You know it. I'd love to see them do it. Matter of fact, I'd like to see somebody put some money behind some player coming out D1 basketball or whatever the case may be, not good enough to make it to the league, maybe a D2 player or something that nobody know, and let him go Joanna Man it up, throw the wig on and let it be known, hey, I really do identify, so forth and so on. And let's see what happens. A D2 player would average 40 points a game in this daggone this league.
All right, real quick. I see that Julie Tatart, if I'm saying that correctly, from France, is averaging 21 and 20 rebounds. This is a transgender player. She was asked if she could go to the WNBA. Would she? She responded, she wouldn't say no. And what I want to say is, I don't think that's fair to the women of the day, the young women of society who are growing up to be athletes. I don't think it's fair. You were born a man with certain attributes that are only given to men. That's some speed, that's strength, that's athleticism, that is just naturally given to us as men. It has nothing to do with what you identify as, has nothing to do with any type of communities. This is strictly about sports. And no one is judging you for your choices, beliefs, or views, because that's only for God to do. That's just my opinion. I don't judge anyone. But I do believe that if you are so good as an athlete, go try that in the NBA and see if you average 21 and 20. I mean, we don't see women who identify as men jumping in the NBA. So why should men who identify as women be able to go to the WNBA. It's a barrier. We know it is. We've seen with multiple different sports across the genre, men are naturally stronger. Women can get stronger, but a natural giving gift, strength, and speed is what makes us men. So yeah, I stand with Sophie Cunningham. Like I said before, it's nothing to go against any group or community. It's just being real. Like, and I only want real perspective and real views.
Hey, this particular brolic individual out in France, Julie Tattart, averaging 20 and 20 over in the female league out in France, and dominating. I mean, 20 rebounds a game is crazy. Goodness gracious.
And I mean this as respectfully as possible. But 9th grade Lonzo Ball in the WNBA is going crazy. All right. Because look, in 9th grade, I'm over 6 feet and I'm dunking. Like, I'm coming through the, like, no girl in the WNBA is doing that. I'm going back door, throw it up. Like, I'm looking like Jordan out there. So I'm going to just say, and I mean this so respectfully.
So great senior.
Middle school down, I give it to the WNBA.
I'm gonna go probably 8th grade, because look, bro, I have real experience doing this, because I played. My sisters went to University of Missouri, and I was still a young dude, and they had me playing like on the scout team, and they had a few WNBA players on the team, like Sophie Cunningham and a couple others, and I think I was like in the 7th or 8th grade going dumb. I'm talking about, like, so I have real life experience.
It's not physically fair, bro.
It's just a difference, man, and I wish this would stop being a conversation, because it should be common sense. But like, it's just not. But I appreciate, common sense. I feel like
This dude said he was in the 7th grade going crazy on adult college female basketball players. He was in the 7th grade. And he has actually legitimate experience because his sisters played ball over at Mizzou. Come on, man. Come on, man. I don't even know. I don't understand what these women are doing other than just pandering to this community.
What's the solution? My solution is everybody plays against the boys. Do you got a solution?
I agree. Let's go. One league. Let's see what happens. But what's going to happen is girls are going to get wiped out. And all of the women, the pioneer athletes that I look up to and I respected, and I made my players actually pay attention to who came before them. The players that are here now, I don't know if they understand what women had to go through years ago in the 70s and the 80s to get to a point where they actually could play and have their own leagues. I don't think they understand that. If you want to do that, make one league, women will be phased out. And so these women that are fighting for women power, are now phasing themselves out of jobs. And you're not saying that trans kids can't play. Give them a place to play. It's fine. Everyone can have an opportunity. But I think that whatever is on your birth certificate is where you should be playing.
Yeah, that's just common sense. No one has said anything about, children being able to play. No one has said anything about that. And to be honest with you, when it comes to, the Decepticons, when it comes to those people, go live your life. For the most part, in America, nobody cares. Nobody cares. Go live your life. We may not agree with it. We may not, want to rock with it, but you functioning in your freedom, however you feel like it, man, go do that. As long as you're not infringing upon the rights of anybody else, no one cares. I want to hear from you guys in the comment section. What are your thoughts? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. Turn the notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. There's not enough of you guys that have your notifications turned on. Make sure you do that. All right. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support, man. Support what we're doing over here. We're fighting an uphill battle. You can buy your brother a coffee. That link's in the description box. The CashApp works. You can join the ARP family. We'll appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, He gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, it can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. Then the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.